Now, normally when I hear about a company with massive layoffs, bad news, I usually will come out here and do one of these. Another, store bites the dust. But in this case, I gotta change it up a little bit. Brum 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 brum. Why am I doing it like that? Because that's the sound of a Harley Davidson motorcycle being auto-tuned by my mouth. Brum 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 brum. Is Harley Davidson about to bite the dust? No, not necessarily. But things ain't looking good. Wolf Richter. Harley Davidson spirals down, announces U.S. layoffs, and builds a factory in Thailand. Why do we keep hearing such and such, and is taking it out overseas? Such and such, and is taking it overseas. Ford is laying off 20,000 workers and is putting a plant in China. Thailand, huh? Now, this is sad because, well, you're going to think of one of two things. When you think of Harley Davidson, you're going to think of a fat slob biker, or you're going to think, because there's only two camps, fat slob biker, or USA, man. Harley Davidson is absolutely the definition of USA, man. Harley, man. Yeah. It's one of those two things. In either case, even if you go with the fat slob on a bike, which that's not exactly true, but that's what a lot of people think. There's still American fat slobs on a bike, and it's an American company, and yeah. So either way, this is an American icon. This is an iconic company for America, is all I'm trying to tell you, regardless of what camp you find yourself in. Harley Davidson, baby. USA. Thailand. Doesn't have the same ring, does it? Watch, try it. USA. Now try Thailand. Thailand. See, doesn't even work. Trying to manage a structural decline in a terrible industry. Shares of Harley Davidson, symbol HOG, dropped 10% in the morning after the company reported second quarter earnings were down nearly 6% at the end of the day. Almost everything was bad. Retail sales by its dealers in the U.S. fell 9.3% in quarter two, compared to a year ago, to 49,668 motorcycles. They were down more than we anticipated, the company said. And while soft sales across most markets, sales by its dealers globally fell 6.7%. Industry new motorcycle sales deterioration continued, the company said in its presentation, lamenting weak industry sales on soft used bike prices. I got to stop for a second. So we have the auto industry car apocalypse happening. The longest time period, normally car dealers should have their vehicles from the time it leaves the actual manufacturer, gets on the dealer's lot. You guys have about 60 days to get rid of these babies. And that was normally, decent, healthy economy. No problem. We got this. Fast forward to even a couple years ago till now, and especially now, and 60 days became 70, 80, somewhere 90, somewhere over 90. Cars, brand new cars sitting on the lots, not being sold. I've been covering this, and I keep saying it. It's the same reason over and over again. People have less disposable income. Why do they have less disposable income? Because the Federal Reserve pumping up the stock market, helping pump up the housing, helping pump up everything that the Federal Reserve does, is causing housing prices to hit these all-time highs again recently, to cause rents to go up. I keep saying this over and over again. So you, as either a renter or a homeowner who pays a mortgage, you are paying out the nose for that, and you don't have much disposable income left to pay for everything else, which means you sure as hell don't have enough money to go buy a freaking Harley Davidson or a brand new car. So we have retail shops closing left and right. We're going to break all records this year ever known to mankind. much less the USA, breaking all records in our country for sure this year. The layoffs, I'm telling you all these stories. Ford, 20,000, this one dropping. Now they're doing it. Harley Davidson motorcycles. That is an iconic American, how many Harleys do you see? The guy's got a couple American flags blown in the wind. He's got his hair, his sunglasses, just flags. Flags are back there screaming USA, USA as they drive by your car and scare the crap out of you because it was so loud and you weren't expecting it. That old chestnut. So let's continue. Industry new motorcycle sales deterioration continued. Whatever. Company said in its presentation, lamenting weak industry sales on soft used bike prices. In addition to the industry woes, its market share in quarter two in the U.S. dropped 1 percentage point to 48.5%. Shipments in the quarter fell 7.2% to 81,807 and are down 10.8% year to date. The 30-day delinquency rate on its $7.5 billion in motorcycle loans outstanding rose to 3.25% from 3.16% a year ago and from 2.7% in quarter two 2015. So if you look back at midway through 2015 to now, 2 years later, it was only 2.7% defaults on the loans. It's now 3.25%. That's it's only 3%. But from 2.7 to 3.25, that's a pretty large jump, right? That's the point. The annualized loss experienced on those loans reached 1.71%, the highest for any second quarter since 2010. In 2010, we were infancy of recovery. We were in our infancy. 2009, 10. You could expect it then. Total revenues fell 5.6% to $1.58 billion. Net income fell 7.7% to $258.9 million. And despite blowing $163.2 million on share buybacks. So Harley Davidson is also doing the thing that all these big, powerful companies do to make their stock look like it's greater than it should be. We're going to do the share buybacks because if we don't, our stock prices are going to plummet. We don't want that. So we'll take funds from over here to do our own buybacks. Well, who would think Harley? Everybody's doing that. Harley, doesn't matter. Yeah, join the crowd. They all do it, so let's do it too. Share buybacks. And despite blowing $163.2 million on share buybacks in the quarter to lower the share count and thus prop up earnings per share still fell 4.5% to $1.48. Its dealer inventory is bloated. Same with the car industry. So it offered incentives. Same with the car industry on its 2016 bikes to clear them out. And that didn't help its 2017 models. But it said bravely that it is targeting significantly lower year-end U.S. dealer inventory. HD has had, Harley Davidson, whatever, has at least 3 fundamental problems. 1 is relatively new, and 2 have been with it for a few years, and it cannot seem to escape them. Number 1, more of its customers are getting financially distressed, as I just discussed and gave you the reasons why. Hence, rising delinquencies and losses on its loan book. This issue has also raised its ugly head once again for automakers and other consumer lenders. Number 2, a hog is the iconic motorcycle for baby boomers. But they don't make baby boomers anymore. The younger generations have other things to spend their money on. Harley Davidson has come out with lighter and less expensive models to appeal to the younger crowd with some success, but not with enough success to make up for the baby boomers who are approaching the end of their riding years in even larger numbers. And number 3, Harley is selling motorcycles. Motorcycle sales in the U.S. have been a nightmare since the peak in 2005 when the industry sold nearly 1.1 million bikes of all sizes. By 2006, sales were falling. 2008, sales plunged, bottoming out in 2010, down 60% from the peak. But unlike auto sales, motorcycles never recovered from the Great Recession. By 2015, industry sales in the U.S. had crept barely past the 500,000 mark. still down 54% from their peak in 2005, only to fall nearly 3% in 2016, and in 2017, they're heading even further south. Here's what the nightmare looks like, and if you want to see this chart, here's the chart in thousands of motorcycles per year. 2010, crept up a hair, and then up, down 3%. How's this going to go? Not looking good, as you know. That's why I do these videos. I got to keep everyone understanding what is happening in the real world. Because if you turn on the TV, you get the fake world. And it's going to catch up to us. And we're going to be standing around saying, what the hell just happened? We already had a recession, whatever, 2008-9. They printed $10 trillion. And we're already seeing the same kind of activity we saw then. Closings, bad numbers, layoffs. But there was no stock market waterfall event. There was no crashing of anything. But this stuff I'm telling you as if that stuff has happened. But it hasn't happened. The stock market's up, breaking records. What's going on here? This is my brain can't figure this out. We should have a stock market crash, but it's not. Why? Because it's propped up by the Fed. But all the other things still apply. Mainly, your mortgage and your rent is too high. Either or is too high. So you struggle every day, every week, working. Your raises are crap, if you even get one. But you're going to notice every year your rent's going up. It's going up another $50 a month. It's going up another $50. And you can't, what if you say no? You say no, you just leave. You leave and go somewhere else to find out they too are jacking their rents up. So we need a massive housing correction, as I've been calling for and telling you has to happen, and it will occur. Then why the hell did you get into a new house, Jason, for? Because it is our dream house, and I've told you 400 times now. He says there's a fourth problem. Some potential customers say the problem that keeps them from buying is the price tag of a Harley. So let me guess before I read on. Harley has done what the car industry has done. Back in 2008, you could buy a new pickup truck, typical full-size pickup truck, for about $28,000. The same pickup truck today is about $48,000 to $52,000. A mere 9 years later. It's no wonder, because as sales lessen, we got to just raise the numbers. I gave the example of like that my buddy living in the condo. Everyone moved out. Their houses were destroyed by the financial collapse, so they just walked away. He decided to stay and saw his like $75 a month HOA, whatever fee, condo fee, turned to $100, $125, $150, $200. It was like, I think it was approaching $300 or something at one point. And he was like, I'm done. I'm walking too. I can't afford this. And they reserve the right to keep raising it because everyone's leaving, and those of us who stayed have to pick up the tab. And that's what Harley does. That's what the car companies do. Well, we're not selling as many as we used to. Raise the price on what we have. Our hardcore people will be there. Not so fast. The problem that keeps them from buying is the price tag of a Harley. It ranges from a little over $6,000 for a smaller entry-level bike to around $27,000. The average revenue, by the way, I've got to mention this because I know somebody who spent $42,000 on it. It is beautiful. Beautiful Harley. Teddy almost never rides. That's got to be painful for me. That's why I'm like, whoa, if I'm getting one, can I take the $6,000 model, please? Thank you. Wait a minute. People can't drive. Everyone's on pharmaceuticals. Scratch that. I will not be on a motorcycle. The average revenue per motorcycle was $15,530 in quarter two. Might those bloated price tags be one of the reasons why the number of bikes sold is spiraling lower? Harley Davidson cut its full year shipments forecast to 241,000 to 246,000 motorcycles globally. I've actually not two. He has two in there twice, but whatever. 241,000 from 246,000 motorcycles globally, down from 262,000. That's weird. Shipments in 2016. It said it expects to ship 39,000 to 44,000 bikes in quarter three, which implies a 9% to 20% plunge year over year. Shipments peaked in '06 at 361,000 bikes. The projected global shipments for 2017 indicate a decline of 33% in 11 years. Quote, given U.S. industry challenges in the second quarter and the importance of the supply and demand balance for our premium brand, we are lowering our full-year shipment and margin guidance, said CEO Matt Levitique. Not only are things bad, but it appears to be bad in such a way that management is really struggling to keep up with how bad things are, mused James Hardiman, an analyst at Wedbush Securities. And then there's the inevitable layoffs. Harley Davidson has to cut production and implement, as Levitic put it, hourly workforce reduction at some of its plants in the U.S. Affected workers would be notified starting Tuesday, he said. On May 25th, the company announced that it would build a plant in Thailand. This will allow us to be more responsive and competitive in the ASEAN region in China, Harley Davidson PR manager Katie Whitmore told CNBC. Increased access and affordability for our customers in the region is key to growth for the company in total, she said. There is no intent to reduce Harley Davidson U.S. manufacturing due to this expansion, she said. Not yet, Miss Katie. She knew what was coming, and that little phrase, due to this expansion, is supposed to give the company plausible deniability. But some of these bikes built in Thailand for the ASEAN region will replace bikes exported from the U.S. to this region. Sales in Asia are also declining. So this is not a measure to deal with surging growth. This is a cost-cutting measure to manage a decline. You Americans, we pay you too much. We're going to have to go overseas to get it done more cheaply. We're not going to tell you that because you would hate us and Americans would hate us because they would think that this is not an American thing to do and our brand name speaks America. So we don't dare say that. No, we're just going to open a branch over there. But yeah, but sales aren't good over there either. I know, just we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. That's how it always starts. Like I said, Donald Trump has his work cut out for him. I wish him a lot of luck. I said this before even this year started. I want him to succeed. I want him to be able to get these jobs, bring them back. But one man, one president, not a chance in hell that they do this. It's the policies that the Federal Reserve has done, the massive borrowing that we've done, the Congress. They've destroyed this country, and no one will dare admit it. So the companies have to do what they have to do to survive. We're going to lie to our fellow Americans so that we can create a plant that's cheaper to run over in Thailand, or we're going to be Ford. We're going to put this over in China. It's cheaper over there. We're not saying that that's why we're doing it, because again, that is very un-American, and we don't want to look very un-American. However, if the people really knew that we had to do this just to freaking survive, because we know it's coming, we can always see the numbers, we can see the trends, we would think they would understand, but they're not ever going to understand because you're always going to say, well, why did you go to China? So we just have to leave that piece out, pretend no one catches on, let the mainstream media tell everyone what we tell them to say, and hope nobody actually looks and realizes what's happening. And then there's guys like Jason Ibfor and some others who have to go and ruin it for all of us and tell us what the whole world what's actually really happening. Yeah. Take care.